Hi everyone, have you all been? I apologize for the delay in the stream, but hey, life sometimes gets in the way, so that's what took me longer. So, a lot of you are based in the US though, so for you I don't think it will be as bad, but for me, we're starting the stream at 12:30 at night, so this is actually going to be, we're going to be doing the stream for a couple hours as we usually do, but it's going to be very late by the time it's over for me, so yeah. So how have you all been? It's great to see you again. Let's see who's here. Goat, Khan, Deadwolf, Rohan, Super Angry, Big Bash, Saeed, Joshman is here. Let's see. Goat. Caleb is here. Electrify is here. Ten Rex. Have I said Rohan? I think I have. What is this XP thing? I do not know. I just saw it as well when... I literally just saw it as soon as I started the stream. Oh, Big Bash has graduated high school. Well done. Congratulations. That's great. I hope that was I hope it felt rewarding, and I hope the next stage that you go through will be just as rewarding too. I don't know. Let me see. This says community leaderboards. So it says which ones of you are on this leaderboard. I don't know what the XP thing is supposed to be. A community leaderboard. Let's see. The leaderboard is a place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. Okay, so that's what it is. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points or XP. Here's how you get them. Send live chat messages, or send super chats and super stickers. Okay, I don't ever recall doing super stickers, but send live chat messages. And it also says send super chats and super stickers. So I don't know what super stickers is, but I don't know if you guys can send super stickers, send them and we'll see what they are. I don't even know what they are. I don't know if they're monetary, if they're free. I don't know what they are. But yeah, there you go. Sending live chat messages, sending super chats and super stickers. Those are your 3 ways to actually get the most points on this, if that's what you're into. Some of you seem to have quite high up points on here. Oh, Big Bash says, watching this stream is my way of celebrating. Oh, that's very nice of you, buddy. Thank you very much for that. Oh, Freddy is also here. Joshman says, Eric, how is it going on the versus video of the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch versus the animated? It's going very good. I'm working on... I'm finishing up the touches on my Snow White versus video. The Daredevil versus video I finished and it's up. The Sinners versus video I did this month, well, the previous month, last month as well. I also did the Fatherless Nation versus video. I've also got, the Lilo and Stitch versus video I'm working on. And I'm also working on another versus video, which I'm not telling you guys about. But that's another one I'm working on. So yeah, like 6 versus videos. And you'll all be glad to know that the copyright claim for Sinners versus From Dusk Till Dawn has been removed. So, yeah, give it a couple days. I just put up the Daredevil versus video, and then I'll put up the Sinners versus From Dusk Till Dawn video. So, it's finally happened. I wish it wouldn't have been blocked, but, you know, because I put a lot of hard work into getting it out as soon as I could. The movie's been out for a few weeks now. But, yeah, better late than never, I suppose. So... yeah, any of you out there, start sharing these videos if you can. That will hopefully help. That Sinners one, I was really wishing I could have done that sooner, I think. Because, you know, like I said, I put the work in to make it done sooner. So it's disappointing that it didn't end up happening. Oh, Saeed says, I'm so disappointed in your Born Again, Eric. I wanted a rageful rant. Yeah, I could, but I think I did though, didn't I? Like I did raise my voice at times too. Yeah, I think I was quite rageful towards it. Like I wasn't yelling, shouting. I have done that in the past, but that's more for things that genuinely get me angry. With this, I wasn't genuinely angry because I knew Marvel would do it. They've already done a very bad job with Daredevil and Kingpin, so I was rageful in those. But there was nothing really to be rageful here. It was just disappointment, sadness, more than it was rageful. If this was the first time they did it, then yeah, rageful. But I couldn't really get that angry because I was already angry before. So these are the phases where you just are sad about it. Big Bash says, can't wait for Rageful Eric for Lilo and Stitch. Well, that's the Disney remakes. They just kind of get it out of you, don't they? So yeah. Oh, Batman's Gamer says he's just made it. That's cool. Hey, bud. I'm so glad you could join. So yeah. I've been so busy, unbelievably busy. In fact, I've got 2 products next to me that are actually part of a sponsorship that I'll be doing soon as well. So the Snow White video is where I'm going to be putting the sponsorship in. So that versus video won't be coming out for a couple of weeks for the channel because the sponsor will have to be put into that. But it will be on my Patreon early for, you know, early access. So Patreon and YouTube memberships. If you want to get early access to the Snow White versus video, join those and you'll get it earlier. Have you reacted to the Ironheart trailer? No, I didn't react to it, but I was thinking of reacting to it on my Patreon, but instead I reviewed, I think it was another trailer. Was it the Jurassic World trailer? I reacted to that instead. Khan says, now noticed, Eric, that you went back to your old versus video format for most of your thumbnails, especially your recent Daredevil Born Again versus video. Yeah, I'm going back to the old format. I experimented outside of it. It didn't really do much, so I'm going back to the old format. Hopefully, I hope you guys all enjoy the return to form on that. Just the old format in terms of the thumbnails. If I can ever make things different in the video, I'll always try. If I can always improve. 10 Rex says, what makes more views negative... Let me read that again. What makes more views? Negative videos or positive videos? It depends. For example, when I did the Zack Snyder Justice League versus Justice League video, I was very positive towards Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I was very negative towards the Joss Whedon version. So that one's more 50-50. It's like whatever you think, but I think people were genuinely intrigued with the comparison on that one. But then when it comes to certain other videos, the rageful ones can get more clicks. That's the honest reality of it. So, you know, I try to do those when I can, but I don't want to overdo them either. Khan says, mostly worked, especially how it started to get more views for your Daredevil video. Has it got more views for my Daredevil video? I looked at it once, and I didn't have the chance to look at it again. 2,700 views. Has it been 24 hours yet? Yeah, it's just been 24 hours. Yeah, that's not the best viewership, but it's hopefully it grows from there. I feel like the wrong turn to this should have got a higher critic score. 41% is insane. Someone just commented on my wrong turn versus video. So, yeah. The Daredevil video was amazing, Eric, says Big Bash. Oh, I really appreciate that, buddy. Like I said, TV show versus videos take a lot out of me. So, yeah, it's not easy to do versus videos with TV shows. They take a long time to do. A lot of extra footage to go through, a lot of extra stuff for me to watch so I can make a comparison on. It's a lot more difficult. In terms of the Lilo and Stitch versus video, I'm going through it, is what I can say right now. I'm still going through it. I'm writing the script, basically. Once I write the script, then I'll be able to, you know, get through. I think I've finished the story segment, so I'm going to try to read that out tomorrow and read out the story segment of another versus video I'm making. And I'll probably try to go through them segment to segment, you know, one a day. Joshua says, Eric, do you also have plans to do a versus video, the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon versus the animated? I do have plans for that. So if everything goes to plan with my schedule, then yes. Big Bash says, I remember the Ed, and Eddie joke in your wrong turn video. It was funny. Yeah, I know, I found that funny too. When I put it together, I found it funny. And also, I remember my sister laughed at it, and my family laughed at it too. They found it really funny. So that was cool to see. Yeah. So yeah. Movie King says, your Daredevil versus video made me more excited for your reactions for episode 8 and 9 since you said that they were the most interesting. Also, did you manually put in the leaderboard thing? In terms of the Daredevil, my reactions to those 2 episodes, I gotta edit those. So yeah, you'll see those soon. I wish I could have got them done before I put the versus video up. I think that would have been cooler, but I just didn't get the chance to, sadly. But yeah, those are coming up, and you'll see I had a lot to say about those. But yeah, in terms of the leaderboard thing, no, it just happened to be that way. So I had nothing to do with it. So I was just as surprised as you guys were when I saw it. And now we've got Batman's Gamer, who's done a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that, buddy. He says, "How was the new Jurassic World trailer for you?" I actually liked the second trailer better than the first one. The first one looked like some cheap Dwayne Johnson Race to Witch Mountain type of film. Very corny and just bad looking. But the second trailer was actually more interesting. I still don't care for the characters in the trailer, but the sequences with the dinosaurs, you know, the dinosaur sequences, those look like a lot of fun. There's also apparently one scene in there that the book had, but the original movie didn't, and now they're finally bringing it in, so yeah, that's cool. Big Bash says, do your parents like Ed, Ed and Eddie? They find it funny, yeah, I don't know if they like it, but they found it funny in the past. It's something clearly that we were watching as kids, and I'm sure eventually it became grating for parents back in the day, so I don't know. I'm sure they have laughs at it too, but it's not their favorite thing to watch, or obviously, but they'll sit through it if we're watching it. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, Batman's Gamer. That really does help. As I've told you guys all the time how these super chats and Streamlabs chats help. Tenrex says, why did you become YouTube channel instead of being a movie writer? It sounds like you can make great movies since you know what makes movies good. Thing is, knowing how to critique movies and knowing what makes them work and what doesn't is much easier than actually writing a movie. I don't think my strength really lies in writing. Probably my strength would lie more in directing than writing. Although I did try to write a trilogy of crime books when I was a kid, very little kid. Never. I think that was the most I remember. Big SHMO, who looks like he might potentially be a new person who's entered the stream. So welcome if you're new to the streams. I hope you enjoy it. Says, hey Eric, will you ever get a Letterboxd account? I've thought about it, but probably not. I'm already managing a lot as it is. I don't think I'll have time to manage a Letterboxd as well, so probably not. But hey, never say never. Eventually, I probably will. Once I start to get enough patrons and I feel like I've got everything under control, then I probably can. As it is right now, I'm still growing my Patreon, and until I get to a certain point, I can't really, you know, like take time away from Patreon yet. I'm still working on my channel and my Patreon and all the other stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't know of. Hot take, all 6 Jurassic movies are good. Yeah, well, you can watch some of my versus videos of them, and you'll see that there's some that I was not so fond of. We've got Joth God, who also looks like someone new that has joined the chat, has joined the stream. So if you're new to the stream, welcome. Hope you enjoy the live streams as we start talking. Sorry, as we start going through the stories. He says, nice, and I'm really enjoying the live streams. That's great. I really appreciate that. Glad you're having fun. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is be going through the 3 stories, and as I've told you guys before, as we go through the stories, I can't answer your questions. I'll glance at the chat, but I'll be mostly focusing on the stories that we're talking about, because that way I can be focused on the stories and I won't get distracted. However, if you want to ask me a question, all you got to do is ask me a question through a super chat or through a Streamlabs chat, which the link to the Streamlabs chat is in the chat. It's linked in the chat, and it's also in the description as well. And if you donate that way, that's very much appreciated if you do it that way. Either way, you'll get your questions answered, and you'll also be supporting the channel in a big way. So feel free to do that as we're going through the stream, and I'll stop what I'm talking about, and I'll answer your question immediately. So yeah, with that said, Let me get some of these notes ready and we can start talking. Okay. Alright then. Here comes the first one. Fantastic Four. Now, Fantastic Four First Steps has recently had a test screening, and Marvel conducted this test screening with general audiences. Now, usually when Marvel do test screenings, they do it internally. They do it with friends and family, with Disney employees, and that's how they try to get their opinions. However, Marvel recently with Fantastic Four decided to do a early test screening with fans, you know, with the general audiences. And this is something that they've probably done because they're kind of afraid. They're probably wondering, how will audiences see this? So they're basically trying to get reviews from test screeners. And it's interesting. Things did not turn out probably the way they wanted it to. Now, apparently it did not go well. It didn't go terribly, but it did not go well as they wanted. Now, before I answer that, quickly, we got a super chat here from Iron Warrior. Hey, thank you very much, bud. I appreciate that. Who asks, you rather be on Fisk or Punisher's bad side? Ooh, that is a hard one. I'd rather be on Punisher's bad side because with Fisk you know it's over. With Punisher, I could prove to him that I'm not all that bad, and he probably wouldn't go that hard on me. So I would say Punisher. All right, going back to this. Thank you very much for the super chat, bud. I appreciate that. Now going back to where we were talking about. So yeah, the test screenings did not go as good as Marvel would want it to, and they really needed it to go excellent in order for this to be worth it. What has happened? C has donated £2. Oh, Streamlabs, through Streamlabs. Thank you very, very much, C. I appreciate that. It's a Streamlabs super chat. He's donated £2.70. Oh, where's my speaker gone? Thank you very, very much for that, buddy. I really appreciate it. He says, I'm going to see Karate Kid Legends on Tuesday. Can't wait. Just my Beyonce. Let me read that again. I'm going to see Karate Kid Legends Tuesday. Can't wait. Just my Beyonce. Caught up with Cobra Kai for the movie. Ready for the movie. Ah, so you're caught up with Cobra Kai, which is a very good show. And now you're about to go watch the movie. Okay, that's good. I hope you have a good time and hope you really enjoy yourself. So, have fun, right? Have fun over there. I've not seen the movie myself, so yeah, but have fun. I hope you have a great time. Alright. So, yeah, the test screening did not go as well as they would have wanted it to, especially considering Marvel they're on hot waters when it comes to their audience, and they can't just do something decent. They need to do something excellent right now, especially with the Fantastic Four, which all this time has been the franchise that has really meant to put Marvel back on the map. So they were supposed to do an amazing job with this, but the reviews have been more just mediocre to good at best if you really try to look on the bright side. Now, the reports of this comes from Jeff Snyder. Now, Jeff Snyder has done many, many kind of like inside scoops, but they're quite shaky. You can't entirely trust them. And, oh, would you look at that? Before we get on to Jeff Snyder, we got Electrify, who's done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate these super chats, guys. Well, they're happening very quickly right now, so thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate that. Electrify says, which movie in July do you think will fail? Fantastic Four First Steps, Jurassic World Rebirth, or Superman? I think Fantastic Four First Steps will be the one to make the least amount of money of those three. I think it might fail, depends how much these reshoots are costing them. But I think it probably will. I think it will make around 400 to 500 million worldwide is what I think, tops. Alright. So, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. So, going back to what I was saying, Jeff Snyder has basically reported on some stuff based on the test screenings. He's talked to some people and some sources, and people who were basically there at the test screening have spoken about Fantastic Four right now. And they're saying this is what they've seen. Now, these are some of the things that I found that they've said. Now, the first thing they said is that Reed Richards hardly uses his powers. Now, that is an issue right there, because it made me think, in the trailers for Fantastic Four First Steps, Pedro Pascal is technically not really using any stretchy powers. There's that one shot where he's using stretchy powers, but he's not really using it in his day-to-day life. If you look at the scenes in the trailer, Pedro Pascal is like writing on a chalkboard, he's just moving around, walking around, but you don't see him just do stretch just to do basic everyday activities or stuff. If you look at the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, you know, where Chris Evans was the Human Torch, Reed Richards in that movie, he would just use his powers for all kinds of things. Like at one point he was shaving, so he pulled his skin down and, you know, started to shave. He also, at one point, like, had to unlock the Ben Grimm's door, the thing. He had to slide his fingers under the door and reach up to get the handle. And not only that, but he would also, when he would sleep, his face would kind of like stretch and then it would have to reshape itself. There was many things that he had done that ultimately showcased his powers day to day. It was a practical thing for him. It wasn't just a cool special effect. It was something he would use in his day-to-day life, and I thought that was really good and creative. But in this movie, it seems like he doesn't really use those powers, and that is kind of a shame. So it basically means that they're being very limited with when he uses his powers. And that means that Marvel are potentially being very tight with how they use his powers, because they don't want to put the effect in there very often. So that's not very good. And Crazy Cat Lady has donated $2 as a super chat. Thank you very much, Crazy Cat Lady. And she's donated $2 saying, "That C was me." Oh, so that was you that did the Streamlabs chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I said, any donations are greatly appreciated, especially if they're done through Streamlabs. So thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it, Crazy Cat Lady. Or as I always call you, Nice Cat Lady. So yeah, Reed Richards, that's the first thing. He hardly uses his powers, and that is a shame. It would have been cool just to see him use his powers day to day. That's what Reed Richards did in that other movie, and I thought it was very creative how they did that, and it was really cool. I'm trying to think of some other scenes that Reed Richards did, because he used his powers a lot in that original movie, and those were effects shots, but you never really thought of them as effects shot because they were used so seamlessly. Like, if you had stretchy powers, you would use your powers for these little conveniences like he did in that film. So, yeah, that's a disappointing thing. Yeah, in the second movie, he danced as well. And the second thing, now this was something that I really did not like to hear, but apparently, the Thing is barely used. He's barely used, especially in the climax, apparently, where he doesn't really do much, if anything. They say that apparently they do the bare minimum with the Thing. And that is also a shame, because again, the Thing I feel like they've used quite a lot in the previous movies. In the first two, they used him a lot, especially in the first movie, where he had become this thing, no pun intended, and he wanted to basically go back to being human. And they focused on that a lot. They did a lot with the Thing in that first movie. Even in the second movie, I felt like they used him quite a lot too. They used all four of them a lot in all these movies. Even Fan Four Stick, the Thing had a bit of that kind of arc in there. And again, they used him in that film too. But to find they used him minimally in this film is very disappointing. You've only got 4 characters here, Marvel. You need to do right by all of them. And already we've got Reed Richards, who's hardly using his powers, which was something that they noticed, and the Thing, who is barely used at all. Not good. And now, this is where things also get worse. This is where it comes down to the character development. Now, the character development here, it says Fantastic Four don't have any character development. They're just preparing for the upcoming threat. So, hi Anthony, I'm glad you could join the live stream. So, ooh, excuse me. So, yeah, they basically, if you saw the trailer and you were hoping we would get character development with these 4, apparently we don't get any. The movie apparently just focuses on the upcoming threat that is happening, which is Galactus. And it's like, aren't you going to try to develop these characters at all? I mean, if you look at what Matt Reeves did with Batman, this movie is saying that the Fantastic Four have already been established and they already exist in this world. But that's what happened with Matt Reeves' Batman as well. Matt Reeves' Batman also just existed, but there was still a lot of development for him. And you're telling me they can't do development for these lot? Like, how can they miss out on basic character development with these, because that's what it sounds like. What they said is that there is no character development, and that is very disappointing to hear. Now this is where Marvel seem to have not learned their lesson at all with their last several movies and a lot of their shows. The climax is taken care of by 2 women and a baby. So the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, The Thing, and Johnny Storm, barely used in that climax. Like, I don't know if they're just sitting there doing nothing, but that's kind of the vibe I get when I read from all of this, from the people that have seen this. It's like they're barely used in the climax, but 2 women save the day, and a baby. So, yeah, basically this will be something that is going to be accused of, leaning into the MCU thing. And quite frankly, I'm surprised Marvel are making this mistake. Now, this is something that we already kind of suspected. In my previous live streams from a long time ago now, I said that when they were making the Fantastic Four, that they were trying to make Sue Storm the female lead of the movie. She was the lead of the film. And it's very disappointing to hear. I said it's very disappointing to hear that she's the lead when they should all be the leads of the film. But yeah, Marvel thought, nah, we're going to make her the lead. And also, it seemed like the Silver Surfer was going to be the lead as well, is what they were trying to say. And now when we hear this, that the climax is taken care of by 2 women, I'm betting you that it's Sue Storm and the Silver Surfer who's going to most likely turn good, just like the Rise of the Silver Surfer did. And if that's the case, it very much sounds like the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie that Fox did all those years ago in 2007. So, I don't know how people can complain about that, but then look at what this new movie's going to do and say it's any different, because it sounds like, I'm not going to give this away, but there's apparently something that happens in there, and it ultimately sounds just like Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, in terms of how they take out Galactus. So, that is very, very disappointing. It really is, because it's like they're essentially just copy and pasting what the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie did, but just executing it slightly differently, but ultimately that's the climax. Except the climax in Rise of the Silver Surfer had all the Fantastic Four contributing, and then at the end, you had Johnny Storm having to come in and, combine everyone's powers. But at the beginning, at the beginning, yeah, they all try to have a go at Galactus, so it doesn't seem like that's going to happen based on what I hear here. Plus, we also heard there's reports coming out of, emergency reshoots for Fantastic Four. Makes me wonder, what are they trying to reshoot? What was considered by them the emergency reshoots? Now, other 3 Fantastic Four members, this is the next thing which bothered people. I think I've actually described this. The other 3 Fantastic Four members have little to nothing to do with defeating Galactus, which is kind of what I've already said. And now this is where things get interesting. A couple of the audience members verbally said out loud, meh, at the end of the movie. And this is before filing out their early reaction, their test screening cards, where they give their review on what they thought of the film. A couple people apparently said, meh, out loud, so people could hear. That basically tells me that Marvel are not in a good spot, that people are now, out loud just saying that. It sounds like they're kind of frustrated, these audience members. Now, I say that, but there was this other article that came out. Let's find it. Oh, darn it. Where has it done that? Oh, here we go. Where has it gone? Oh, here we go. Now, that's what I heard at first, that some audience members basically just yelled and said mid, or meh. But then this article came out just recently, where it says, Fantastic Four test screenings attendee sets the record straight about misinterpreted reactions. Now, this person basically came and said this right here. They said, and I'll bring it up on screen so you can see, they said, I've been seeing a lot of reporting on anecdotes and facts that I recognized as my own. I wanted to debunk some misinterpretations I've heard. No one screamed mid in the audience. There was a guy next to me sighing and flapping his hands around. When the movie was over, I asked him his opinion, and he said it was mid. I told the story on Discord right after I left. Certain insiders have blown this story out of proportion, saying that some lunatic screamed mid in the theatre. This is 100% untrue. There was an employee asking around random people for their reactions. I heard a lot of excellence, the highest rating on the survey. Now, he says he heard a lot of excellence. A lot of people say excellent on the survey, but that's based on where he was sitting. Who knows? Maybe some people there did, but there must have been a lot of people that also did not say very good things, because from what it sounds like the reactions were mixed at that test screening. So we will say that maybe someone did not yell mid, but I don't think that the reactions were as good as he's making it out. Like the people were saying excellent. That's just a couple people near his area. That doesn't mean the rest of the people were all saying excellent. It means they could have been saying mid on the cards themselves. So we really have to know. This is where things get a bit complicated. It's like you got to take some stuff with a grain of salt. But ultimately, we'll really know what people think once we see the final movie. But yeah, the test screening reports that I've heard from people who have seen it and who are spilling the beans on the plot and who are talking about it, it doesn't sound like a lot of people are saying excellent there. So yeah, it sounds like the test screenings are kind of like mediocre, ultimately. So yeah, that's what I've heard about that. Now, this is a big issue for Marvel, because the Fantastic Four, we have been saying for years, especially post-Endgame, that's where Marvel will start to find themselves again and they'll get better. But sadly, it doesn't seem like they're getting better. It seems like they're just going about doing the same stuff they always do. So I don't think they're getting better based off of this. It sounds like they're still making the same mistakes. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, it doesn't sound particularly good what's happening. It sounds like this is going to be a very mid movie, essentially. Orion says, Sinners perform very poorly in test screenings and as well, though, and it's great. Yes, but that's Ryan Coogler, someone we can actually have confidence in. Are you telling me we have confidence in the MCU right now, though? It's like, no, we don't. So it very much could end up just being another bad one. So we'll see, but based off the stuff I've heard, it does not sound very good. And I've also read into some spoilers as well. I'm not trying to give the full-on spoilers away, but they don't sound good either. The movie sounds like it'll be better than what we saw before, but it ultimately feels like this movie is going to be somewhere in between, say, Captain America Brave New World and the Thunderbolts. It seems like it'll be somewhere either in between or slightly better than Thunderbolts, is what I think. But that's not the level of good that it needs to be in order for Marvel to win their audience back. And quite frankly, if this movie feels like just another disposable Marvel movie that you won't want to see again after the first viewing, then Marvel are in big trouble, because people are going to think, well, if that's the best they can do, then, why should we... Basically, this was supposed to blow people's minds. This movie has to be excellent, and if it's not, it's going to be underwhelming. It's not going to bring people's trust back in the future of the MCU. If anything, it'll make people afraid and say, if this is the best they can do with the Fantastic Four, then what are they going to do with the X-Men? This is a very, very bad time for Marvel to be making these kinds of mistakes. It really, really is. So, yeah, very, very disappointing, I think, to hear this kind of news. So... yeah, Charlton says, I'm praying it'll be a fun movie. If it's bad, I can't imagine the next Avengers movie will be like... I can't imagine what the next Avengers movie will be like. Well, word on the street is that they're basically shooting Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars without a script. Typical Marvel. Clearly, the Russos needed more time to make a script, but they're not being given it, and they have to start shooting. And they're investing a lot of money into this, and yeah, this is just very, very bad. It really is. So yeah. Yeah, this is not good news for Marvel. If anything, it's going to make people, like I said, just lose even more confidence in them than they have already lost. So yeah, this is not good. I can tell you that right now. This is definitely not good. So yeah, before we move on to the next story, let's hear your questions. Fire away with your questions. Let me see, I have the article up here, I think. Okay, before I read your questions, again, unless you do a Streamlabs chat or super chat, I'll answer them immediately. But I've got the article here, and it's basically giving more details if you guys want to know. So let's have a look. This is more of what Snyder said. Jeff Snyder, he goes, my source called it both mid and meh, and not that bad, but not that good either. He explains, more concerningly, they said it featured weak character development and bad CGI, though the latter issue will certainly be addressed over the next month. Will it though? Because Marvel CGI has always been bad a lot of these times, so I don't see how it could get better, really, if I'm being honest with you on that one. Ooh, look at that. Killick White has donated through Streamlabs. Thank you very, very much, buddy. I really do appreciate that. He's donated £3.71 and says, what would you watch? Fantastic Four, Rise of Captain Carter? Oh, would you watch... if you put commas in there, I think it would help. What would you watch? Fantastic Four, Rise of Captain Carter, or Avengers vs... Oh, these two movies. Fantastic Four, Rise of Captain Carter, or Avengers vs. Captain Carter? I'd rather watch Fantastic Four. What do you mean Avengers vs. Captain Carter? Oh, you mean Eric Carter. Well, you said Carter. I thought you meant Peggy Carter. I'm sorry, I was like, what do you mean Captain Carter when you said Captain Carter? Because isn't that what she's called? Captain Carter. Alright, let's see. Oh, hi Gwen, great to see you here. Jacinda, great to see you as well. Okay, let's see. Let me read that again. What would you watch? Fantastic Four, Rise of Captain Carter, or Avengers vs. Captain Carter? Avengers vs. Captain Carter sounds actually pretty good in that regard, so I'd watch that one. Alright, now let's get back to that article. Okay, so yeah, the CGI, I doubt it will get better. This is Marvel we're talking about. When they screw up CGI, they really screw it up, so I don't think it's going to be anything that good. Where was I? Okay. In general, Marvel doesn't do public... This is what I said earlier. In general, Marvel doesn't do public test screenings unless they're worried. That was the case with Eternals, The Marvels, Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, and Captain America Brave New World. All those movies flopped at the box office. So that's not a good sign if this is what they are doing now. They're doing the same thing with Fantastic Four. While I initially heard that Marvel was high on first steps internally, Snyder continues, a separate industry source who has not seen the finished film himself has sounded the alarm in recent weeks that the film is a mess and a huge problem movie. I'm going to repeat that again. While I initially heard that Marvel was high on first steps internally, a separate industry source who has not seen the finished film himself has sounded the alarm in recent weeks that the film is a mess and a huge problem movie. I don't know how the person could say he's not seen it and say it's a huge mess and a problem movie if he's not seen it, so that sounds a bit weird and a bit strange. But maybe he's just aware of the behind-the-scenes turmoil this movie has been going through. Maybe that's what he's aware of. That said, it sounds like Ralph Ineson's, who plays Galactus, it sounds like Ralph Ineson's Galactus went over well with the crowd last night, which is encouraging, seeing as how Marvel has had a villain problem of late, he concludes. So yeah, that does not sound particularly promising, although it is good to know that Galactus is scary. That's one thing I've heard. They said he's scary. I hope they can make him scary, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that's let's hope they do a good job with it then. But the thing is, no, it's just this still sounds very concerning. And CGI is something that people were complaining about, that a lot of it was unfinished. And people are saying that yeah, but the CGI will get better, but the movie's out next month. How much better can it get at this point? This sounds like just Marvel doing bad stuff with the CGI again. It really does. So yeah. Khan says they might just reshoot the entire movie because of the early reactions. They won't. It's too late. They got a release date. They put all the money in. They're not going to spend double the money to reshoot the whole film. So that's not gonna happen. They're gonna have to stick to their guns now. It's too late to make any more changes. So they can try to make some reshoot changes, but nothing drastic or huge in the amount of time they have left. Big Bash has 2 months left to overwork the VFX artist. Yep. What are your favourite MCU movies? Mine's Infinity War. Mine's The Winter Soldier. It's funny how some people have these crowns over their heads and everything, but then some others of you don't have them. That's kind of bizarre. In the chat I'm looking at. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Fantastic Four is going to be a good movie, a bad movie, or okay? You know what? I'll start a poll here. Do you think Fantastic Four First Steps meh / okay, bad, I will add a fourth option, or terrible? There you go, I'll start the poll. So yeah, go ahead and place your votes on as to what you think. Jacinda says, I just got here. I heard that Avengers Doomsday needs to make $2 billion just to break even. Is this true? I've heard of this too. No, it's not true. I think it will need to make 1.5 billion, something like, you know, like over $1 billion. But I don't think it needs to make 2 billion to break even. That's too much. It's like at that point, they're not going to make their money back already at that point. Big Bass said he saw Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. That's good. So yeah, place your vote. 16 of you are voted. There's about 30 of you in the chat, so go ahead and place your votes. Killick White has done another super chat. Let's see, where is it? Oh, he's done a $2 super chat. Thank you very, very much, buddy. I really appreciate these super chats and Streamlabs chat, so thank you. He says, which is better now, Star Wars or Marvel in 2020? Ooh, that is a big question. That's difficult to answer. They're both kind of screwing up. I'll say Star Wars. Star Wars is doing better because there are some good stuff to come out of it. In the 2020s, I've enjoyed The Bad Batch, which came out. I haven't seen the recent... there's also the Tales of the Jedi, or was it Tales of the Sith? I really enjoyed that. I did a Let's Binge Watch video on that. And then what else have we got? We've also got... I've heard people like Andor, but I've still not seen past the first episode yet. There's also another one. What was the other one? Oh yeah, there's a recent show that's come out that has Ventress and Bane in it. I've still not seen that. I want to see it, but that is something that I also want to see. A lot of stuff on Marvel I don't want to see. That's kind of the problem. But at least with Star Wars, there's some stuff that I do want to see. So I'll say that. That is... so Star Wars. Definitely Star Wars. And now we've got Super Michael, who has also done a super chat. Thank you very much, Super Michael. I really appreciate it. You guys are so generous with these super chats today. I really appreciate that. Super Michael says, it's funny how earlier this year people were deciding between Superman and Fantastic Four. Yeah, that is funny, isn't it? They were deciding between them, and people were saying Marvel will win because, you know, DC still have their bad reputation, but Marvel have a better one. But honestly, I don't think they can have a good reputation with this. I don't think they can. I think their reputation is really hitting like, you know, hitting the bottom of the barrel. And not only that, but also they have what's the other one coming out? Ironheart. They got that coming out too. and that also looks terrible. So yeah, they've got a lot of issues down there. They really, really do. So there's nothing else I can really say about it. They're just messing up. They really are. Super Michael, you are right. Marvel did take their audience for granted. Alright, place your votes, and then we're going in the poll, and then we're going to end it very shortly, and then we'll take a look at the results. Let me heart all of your super chats here. There you go. All hearted. Anyone else has a super chat, I'll heart that as well. Alright, so we'll end the poll now. End poll. Alright, let's take a look at the results. Alright, do you think Fantastic Four First Steps will be good, bad, or okay? 54% said meh or okay. That's a huge number. 29% said it will be good, 8% said it will be bad, and 8% said it will be terrible. So everyone seems to think that it'll either be good or okay. And most people say it's going to be okay. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be on the level that it needs to be in order for it to be, you know, like a great movie. Because you need everyone to like pile on the good, on good and say it's going to be good. But if a lot of people are piling on saying it'll be meh or okay, and you get some of them in there as well saying bad and terrible, that's not a good sign. Gwen says she voted bad. Big Bass says he voted terrible. What's the budget of the movie, Eric? I don't know. I don't think they've released a budget yet. They do that closer to the time, but I could take a look very quickly. Fantastic Four First Steps budget. There's no budget yet. Unknown amount. So yeah, they've not declared it yet. I think they declare it later. So yeah, they've not made that clear yet as to what the budget is. But I can imagine the budget will be... They'll probably say it's 180 million again, like they did with Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World. But I bet you, with the reshoots they've been doing the last couple of months, I bet you the movie will be something like $250 million, if not more, because somehow they've really been overspending on these movies lately, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Jigsaw, haven't seen you in quite a bit. How have you been, buddy? Goat says, I voted good because I'm not that strict over movies. Oh, fair enough. That's fine. Killick says, I'll keep it optimistic until July because you never know. Yeah, that is true. You never know. Plot twist is a $5 budget. That'd be the day if they could do that. But did you hear Lilo and Stitch is like making crazy money at the box office? That is so unfortunate. It's already made 6 times its budget, which is so sad to hear. Yeah, Gwen, I feel your pain as well. So yeah. Super angry? I have watched Squid Game, yeah. Electrify said it best. He goes, nostalgia wins, sadly. It does, unfortunately. Lilo and Stitch isn't needed. The animated movie already exists. Yes, and the animated movie did it better. Wow. Check this out. Someone said on Threads earlier, now I am on Threads if you want to follow me there. Threads is where James Gunn goes. Time Shadow is here. Great to see you, bud. Now, Threads is where James Gunn goes when he wants to give information about, like, you know, his DC activities. It's basically another Twitter, essentially. Or X, as it's known now. But I use it because, you know, Twitter suspended my account, even though it got hacked, and they're not listening to any of my appeals. Now, someone said on here, I rewatched Captain America Brave New World last night, and I don't understand the hate. It was a great film. And then you get the crazy activist type that jumps in and then just says, honestly, stuff that sounds like it comes from a social justice warrior who is a supervillain. And he goes, the hate is from the usual racist, comic illiterate, or bandwagon passengers. The story was fine, the CGI was fine, the soundtrack was fine, and the design was fine. It even tied up loose ends and introduced things people have been asking for, but can't see it just yet. Despite it being right in their face. Could it have been better? Sure. Was it the worst MCU movie of all time? Absolutely not. The Marvels has that covered. And then I was like, okay, he says the hate is from the usual racists and everything, and I was like, alright, from the people that didn't like Captain America 4, Brave New World. And as I've said when I reviewed that movie, that was not a good movie, and a lot of people have agreed on that. And then I said, normally you don't engage with kooks like this, but do you know what? I says, I know I'm going to regret asking this, so does that mean everyone who didn't turn up to the box office and gave it Marvel's usual box office numbers is a rate... let me say that again, took a pause there. So I said to him, I know I'm going to regret asking this, so does that mean everyone who didn't turn up to the box office and gave it Marvel's usual box office numbers is a racist, comic literate bandwagon passenger? And then he said, no, not everyone, but a majority, yes. So basically, everyone who did not come to see Fantastic Four at the theatre to increase its box office, I said, are they a racist? And he goes, not all of them, but a majority of them, yes. That's pretty much saying pretty much all of them. The people that did not go to see this movie in theatres. He's saying they're racists and they're all that. Crazy people, seriously. I swear he just looked at Anthony Mackie, said he's a black man. I want to support the movie just for that, because that guy is black on there. But that's just crazy. Apparently so, Goat. Although maybe he says not everyone, so maybe that one isn't. But it's just crazy. Like, crazy people like this. Kevin has done a $5 super chat. That is something that is not crazy. Do you guys hear that? What's going on? There's a car outside slamming the horn on his car. Now he stopped. Mind you, it's 1:21 a.m. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, Movie King said, what's that sound? What is that car honk noise? Yeah, someone just slammed their horn on the car. And it's 1:21 in the morning, and they were doing that in the middle of the street. Rohan says he heard that too. That is so weird. I'm just looking at the camera outside of my phone. That was so weird. Oh, and he's doing it again. He turned around, did a U-turn, driving off, and he's doing it again. I can hear him off in the distance wherever he's driving. That is so weird. Kook. Weirdo. Anyway. I can still hear him. He's like far away now, still slamming that horn. What the hell? Whoa. Saeed says it. Why these people are so weird? Yeah, I know. He's back. Guys, it's the apocalypse. Yeah, I heard it. Do I need my ears checked? Because I can't hear it. No, it's probably because the microphone is making sure you don't hear it or something. I don't know. But some of them could. Some of you. Maybe they're wearing headphones or something. Alright, now... so Kevin did a super chat. He says, Stefan Kapik should have voiced Jumba instead. Sorry, you never played GTA. You mad Guntu wasn't in the new film. And should it be illegal for Disney to do remakes? No, it doesn't need to be illegal, but they should do better stuff as well in between the remakes. But they don't do better stuff in between the remakes. They make crap, and then they end up making more crap with the Disney remakes. They can make some cash grabs so long as they make a lot of other good movies, but it feels like all they're doing is cash grabs lately. And in response to your question, Kevin, was I mad that Guntu wasn't in the new film? I wasn't mad, but I was like, why? What I was mad about is that they, instead of making Guntu the villain, they ended up making Jumba the villain instead. That I was very disappointed with. I don't know why they did that. What possessed them to do that? Sai says, Eric, that car honk is Disney. Yeah, probably is. Oh, Gwen says she is wearing headphones. She still couldn't hear that. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe go back later and rewind it maybe later. You might hear it. I don't know. That's bizarre. I might want to go back later, see if I can hear it now. I'm curious if I'll be able to. Okay, so... is there any other part to Kevin's question on his super chat? Stefan Kapik, I don't know who that is to voice Jumba, so I'm sorry I can't really comment on that. Sorry you never played GTA. You don't have to be sorry about it. There's a lot of other stuff I had a lot of great fun playing as a kid. GTA, the fact I never got to play that is kind of unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. And yeah, I think I've got all your questions covered. So thanks very much, Kevin, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Side says, it's the Disney Marvel execs. Yeah, probably. So let's see. That honk is Kevin Feige. That's funny. The driver rage quitted. Should we move on to the next story, says Khan. Yeah, we'll move on to the next story in a second. Oh, he voices Colossus in the Deadpool movies. Wasn't Colossus voiced by... was it Tim Story? Not Tim Story. No. That's the Fantastic Four director. What was the name of the director that did the first Deadpool, and then he also did that shitty Terminator Dark Fate movie? Tim something, wasn't it? I know you guys will put it in there. Tim Miller, that was it. Tim Miller, didn't he voice him in that first movie? That's what I thought it was. They said Tim Miller voiced Colossus. Let's see, double check that. I'm sure Tim Miller voiced Colossus. Deadpool 1 IMDb. I swear they said he voiced Colossus. Let me quickly take a look. Wow, next year Deadpool is going to be 10 years old. Can you believe that? Oh, I was wrong. I don't know where I heard that Tim Miller voiced him. I swear I heard that somewhere. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds played Juggernaut in Deadpool 2, but I swear I heard Tim Miller voiced a character too at one point. Okay then, yeah. Yeah, they could have gotten him to do Jumba, which would have been better. I honestly think, though, he would have done better, not as Jumba, he would have done better as Captain Guntu if they hired him. I think he would have done a great job. Alright, so the next story we're going to be talking about is Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter, they've hired their new kid actors for the HBO show. So these are the kids right here, and these are the photo they released when they hired the original actors Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson to play Harry, Ron, and Hermione in the original Harry Potter franchise. So these are the two pictures, how they decided to show us all who they cast. And yeah, let's make this image bigger and let's talk about them. Now, you're probably not going to see my face. Let me see if I can cut this image out a little and you can see me a little bit more, maybe. There we go, you can see me now. Alright, so they've hired 3 new actors now, finally. The search is over, to play Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So the actors that they've got is Dominic McLaughlin, yeah, that was it. Dominic McLaughlin, who plays Harry Potter. He's the one in the middle. Then we got Arabella Stanton. Excuse me. We got Arabella Stanton, who plays Hermione Granger, who's on the left, and we have Alistair Stout, who plays Ron Weasley. Now, of the three, I think that Ron looks the best. He definitely looks like he could play a Ron, that's for sure. The one that plays Harry, he's okay, but it's hard to tell until he wears the glasses, so I have to reserve judgment on that. Because even Daniel Radcliffe, when he was young, looked quite weird, even when he was wearing glasses. So we have to see what he looks like in the costume in the final movie and everything. But there you go. And then, so yeah, and also I want to make, it's a weird observation I'm going to make, but I'm going to make it anyway. I don't know why, I'm having the assumption that he might be gay. I could be wrong, I'm not saying that the character's going to be gay, but this kid, I feel like he's either gay already, or he might grow up to be. I've made guesses like that before with certain people where I'm like, I don't know, they just kind of, like, you can just kind of tell that they look like they're gay or something, and then later on you find out they are. That has happened to me before, and I don't know why. I get that vibe when I'm looking at him. It's something to do with his smile. There's something about his smile which kind of just gives me that vibe. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know why. There's just something about that which tells me that the actor might be, or probably even if he's not now, he will be eventually. So yeah, I just thought I'd drop that in. That's something that I kind of noticed. And now the actress that plays Hermione is, like I said, her name is Arabella Stanton. I think she is mixed race. They've gotten someone who's kind of like Meghan Markle, someone who's white and black. You know, they must have had like one parent who was white, one that was black, and you can kind of tell she looks mixed race. And I don't know why, for some reason looking at her, I thought she reminded me a little bit of a Latina a little bit too, which was interesting. I've not double checked what her ethnicity is, but those are the instant vibes that I get just looking at them. I know, Khan, that's why I'm saying I'm having that's just something that stood out. Doesn't mean it will happen, I'm just saying that's something that I assumed. I'm just comfortable with you guys, so I'll say these things that I assume sometimes. I'm not saying it is, but it's just something that I had a guess of. But we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I think these are three good-looking actors. I think they do look the part. Hermione, in particular, they've made her a bit darker, but like with Rachel Zegler, I don't mind because she's still bright-skinned, so I don't take a huge deal with that. Kevin, I did get your super chat, and I answered it. You had multiple questions on there, and I did answer it, yeah. You might have to rewind it, the video, maybe you missed it, but I did answer your question, yeah. But now, the Hermione actress, she's the only one that looks, like I said, it's, oh, it's a $2 one. No, it's not come through. Was it a super chat or was it a Streamlabs chat? But yeah, a super chat. No, I didn't receive it. It didn't come through or anything. Because I'll have it on my screen right here if it did. I've got all of them logged right here from even the previous stream. So if it actually did go through, I would have seen it. Have a check, see if it did go through or if it failed to go through. And if it doesn't work, do it through Streamlabs if it's just failing to process. But going back to Hermione, I don't mind. Just like with Rachel Zegler, she's light-skinned enough to where I don't mind, personally. But I like how her hair is not very good looking either, because the J.K. Rowling said that when she designed Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they were supposed to be a very kind of like geeky looking children. But then Hollywood came in, and of course, they tried to hire very attractive looking children. But that's not what she was aiming for. She was aiming for them to be very generic kids that didn't have looks on their side. They were very geeky kids. So I feel like they still went for the model look with Harry and Ron, but purely going off of her hair, I don't know if they did her hair up for this, but Hermione's hair was a little bit, not fully clean, it was like a little bit like jagged a little bit, and I think they did that on purpose. If you look at the right side of her hair over here, they did that on purpose. I think that's to show that they're going to make her look a bit more geeky like she was described in the book. That being said, they were all described as being geeky in the book, so I'm kind of wondering, are they going to make them all look geeky, or just Hermione? I don't know. Or are they going to make her look Like, are they gonna try to make her look like a model, like the original kid actors as well? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, these are the kid actors. These are our Harry, Ron, and Hermione's. We'll have to see how they do in the actual show. And like I said, this is them right here compared to the actors in the original. There you go. I honestly think these guys looked better, of course. But then again, we've not really seen these lot in the costumes. But people are going to always identify these ones as the characters, because even when reading the books, I imagined these guys in my head as I was reading the books. So, yeah, I think it's one of those situations where we'll just have to wait and see. But I think it's a pretty good choice they've done here. Could they have done better? Of course. I'm not going to say... I'm looking at the girl playing Hermione, and I'm like, of course they could have hired an actress that was just purely white. But hey, at least they didn't hire one that looked completely black, because that would be very distracting. It would be way too distracting. I've read those books with a certain image of the kids in mind. You gotta make them look somewhat like these three. And I feel like with Ron and Harry, it looks like they've kind of done that. With Hermione, it feels like they quite haven't. She's probably looks like the most different out of the three. Whereas they tried to make Harry and Ron look kind of like these two. Hermione looks very different. So we'll have to see how that goes down. Oh, hey G-Gamer, great to see you here. You've missed the first story and a half, essentially, where I've just talked about the kid actors that they've hired for Harry Potter. Alright, now, there's a couple of other things I want to bring up here. So you see that we've got the main cast right here, but as a bonus, I thought I'll also show you these three. Now, these three right here are going to play the Hogwarts professors. So, the one on the right is Nick Frost. You'll probably remember him from Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead or The World's End. He's a very good actor, very funny. And then we have Janet McTeer in the middle, who's going to play Professor McGonagall. Now, Nick Frost is going to play Hagrid. I forgot to mention that. Nick Frost is going to play Hagrid, which I think is actually not a bad choice. He's very good with voices, this actor. And he's also a British actor, so I feel like he could do a very good job. Janet McTeer, she looks like a very good choice. Then we got here Papa Esiodor or something, who plays Snape. That's not... we all know that's not good. I don't like this casting choice, and I think they're going to have to change a lot of things just to get around his casting. Because what they've done is going to make things look, again, racist. Like, Harry's dad bullied Snape as a kid, and we saw it. But that's all it was supposed to be, is bullying. But now, when we see flashbacks of it, and Harry's dad uses spells and bullies on the black kid, it's going to look like he's a racist first, and the bully is going to be completely out of it. So that's bad. Another bad thing is that Harry's mother was friends with Snape as a kid, and Snape liked her, but in the end she ended up going with Harry's dad, who bullied Snape. So it will look bad on her that the guy that was being racist towards her friend, she ends up marrying him. That's another bad thing. Also, Hermione in the books, I don't know if you guys remembered this, but she was kind of like an activist in the book, and she really cared about the lives of house elves. Hermione really, really cared about the lives of house elves, and she wanted to protect them under what she would call SPEW, or Harry and Ron would call it SPOO, and she would get really mad at that. And if I remember correctly, I can't remember, it's been such a long time, but she did not like that elves were essentially slaves. And I think at one point Snape gave her a hard time about that. But if Snape now is a black guy, and he's giving her a hard time about wanting to free, the house elves who are essentially slaves, that's another thing. So there's a lot of things they're going to have to take out just to make sure that they don't get into this whole race thing. But it's like, but then why did you cast him in the first place? I don't like what they've done. This is a very bad casting choice. Completely terrible. And they're going to just pass everyone else off who doesn't like it as racist, when really there's a lot of logical reasons as to why it does not work. So yes, I don't like that they've done that. Now what was the other thing? John Lithgow, yes, plays Dumbledore. Some of you have been mentioning. And yes, I think I mentioned that in one of my previous streams. Yes, he plays Dumbledore, apparently. But some people are thinking that he's very old. Could you imagine if he passes away in between the books, the seasons that they do, kind of like how the original actor passed away in between the movies after the second movie. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we'll have to see what the rest of this is like. But thing is, if I'm being honest with you guys, I still don't have faith in this. But before I say why I don't have faith in this, I'm going to... Kevin has done another $2 super chat because he is that freaking awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. And Kevin asks, how come Batman's parents weren't mentioned in Joker 2? The Waynes. Yeah, they could have mentioned them, but they didn't, did they? There was a lot of things they could have mentioned in that movie and, like, you know, added to the world building, but they just didn't do it. So, I don't know. They just didn't do it. They should have. There's a lot of things they should have done, but they didn't. So, you're right about that, Kevin. I never thought about that, but the Waynes weren't even mentioned. Thanks again for the super chat, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Now... I love the Professor McGonagall's casting is perfect. Yeah, very good casting. I don't think anyone can beat the casting of Maggie Smith, but still, this is a very good cast. This is very good casting, just except for Snape. So yeah. Now, what I was saying is I still don't have faith in this whole project of Harry Potter on HBO. I like the idea of them making a show, but I just don't trust this whole project. Now, first of all, okay, I was about to mention how, but then we have Super Michael coming in with a $20 super chat. Michael, that is so incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. He says, they look cute as a button. I think those kids will do just fine. I think everyone is just too attached to the originals. That is very true, but it's understandably true. Daniel Radcliffe has said that he can never watch the first two movies because he hated his acting. Yeah, the acting is not great from some of them, like, especially in Harry Potter 6, I hated the acting of Rupert Grint, and I hated the acting of Daniel Radcliffe at some points too. It just wasn't very good, I think. In the sixth one, that is. So, yeah, but it got better in some of the others. But yeah, the acting wasn't great. You got to be in the mood to see that kind of acting at points. But yeah, they are very cute as a button. You're definitely right about that. So, okay, now we've got another $5 super chat, this time from Killick, who's done it again. Who's really killing it. Thank you very much for the super chats, Killick. He says, if you like video game YouTubers, I suggest you watch The Act Man. He is very funny and entertaining. His game reviews are very good, are very good game recommendations. Okay, I'll take note. And if I want to look at some gameplay videos or game reviews, I then can. So thank you very much, bud. Okay. Where was I? Khan says, don't worry, Eric. We're not alone in this. I don't have much faith in this show. Yeah, a lot of us aren't. I'll tell you why I still don't trust this whole project. First of all, the writers haven't read the books. Or, I don't know if all of them haven't read it, but there was one that hasn't read the books. And he said, I haven't even read the... He said, essentially, that he's not read the book series, but he's looking very forward to adding his own stuff. That's one stupid thing. They should have fired that guy after he said that. But no, he's still working on it. This was also pitched as adapting the books page for page, which is a great idea. But when you combine it with my previous point that the guy said that he never read the books, it's like, clearly they're not adapting the books then. And especially when he said he's going to look forward to adding his own shit. It's like, at that point, it's like, yeah, you're definitely not adapting the books. And the third reason is that they're really going to... They're going to be adding a ton of additional stuff that is made for the show. So apparently each season's going to have like 8 episodes, which is stupid. They should honestly start out with like 2 or 3 episodes for the smaller books. And then just like the books got longer, book by book, the season should get longer season by season. That's how it should be. But instead they're doing 8 episodes for like book 1, which got done very well in like 2.5 hours in the first movie. So the fact that they're now trying to do that, but in 8 episodes, like, what filler are they going to have to make up to accommodate all of those? Really, they just need to rush towards getting to the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th books. That's essentially what people want to see. So that's what they should be doing. And for my other reason, well, no, I've already said that reason, which is that writers who have not read the book series but are looking forward to adding their own stuff, that's ridiculous. Spirit Hero is here. Don't worry, bud, you're still here in the middle of these stories, so don't worry about it. So yeah, again, I'm very disappointed with that. So yeah, and also again, the casting of Snape shows that they have a fundamental misunderstanding. Like, they did not cast Snape for creative reasons. They cast it so they could get they cast him so they could get a pat on the back for casting a black man and race swapping a character. The reason I know this is because if you actually see what they've changed now by casting someone black, as we've spoken about, like Harry's dad now being a racist, Harry's mother marrying the racist, and Snape like talking down to Hermione who's speaking up for house elves who are essentially slaves, and him like, you know, throwing that, like, you know, thinking that's pathetic of her. These things are now going to like negatively impact Snape and the story and the other characters, and you can tell that they're either going to have to cut these out now or just ignore them or change them. They wouldn't have to change it if they did not race bend him, so this is incredibly bad. This is one of the worst castings ever, what they're doing here with Snape. It is truly atrocious. They're going to have to start changing a lot of the writing in the book to make it not look racist now, for characters to, like, you know, treat Snape the way they did. It really is ridiculous. Oh, would you look at that? Lord Voldemort has entered the chat. Yeah, Adam Driver should have played Snape, but at the same time, I hear Adam Driver is quite a diva. There's a lot of things he's saying no to, which is kind of bizarre. So, he said no to Mr. Fantastic, but then again, maybe he read the script and it was Marvel that he was not happy with. Also, he wanted more pay, which he didn't get. And also in this, it's funny, Adam Driver, you saw him a lot. Now you don't really see him at all. So, yeah. Colin Farrell as Snape. I don't think so, but I would rather take him over this actor. I don't think he would want to either, because that means it'll be a franchise he's a part of. Just give the Snape role to Adam Driver or Benedict Cumberbatch. I agree, Trevor. Benedict Cumberbatch would have been a great Snape. He very much sounds like Alan Rickman. He puts on a very good Alan Rickman impression, so he could have done it. Yeah, rest in Snape to Alan Rickman indeed, who played Snape. No one can beat him. J.K. Rowling said that she even imagined the character very much to be like Alan Rickman. And she told him, basically, before everyone else knew, when I think the books were like still like in the middle of coming out, like there's a 4th book that just hit. Before the 4th book hit, she told Alan Rickman alone, and she told him that Snape loved Harry's mother. And she told him that because as they were filming the original movies, the books hadn't all come out. So sometimes when he was, the director was telling him to do something, he goes, I don't think I should do that given what I know. And he wouldn't tell them what he knew. But essentially he was guiding the Snape character through what he knew to kind of keep it consistent. So that was very good how he did that. And it's interesting that she told him that right at the beginning. So that's interesting. So yeah, what do you guys think of this? Do you think of the casting of these three? Do you think these are good 3 kids they got? Does it bother you, the race bending they did with Hermione? Or like me, are you not really bothered by it because she still looks light-skinned enough? Also, does anyone know what her ethnicity is? I think she's, you know, half black, half white. But there's also a little bit of Latino in her that I see as well. Is that where the white comes from? You know, The Rock as Draco Malfoy. That's funny. Ron looks okay, but where are Harry's iconic glasses? This is just an early photo, so don't worry, he'll have his glasses eventually. Awkwafina as Snape, Big Bash, come on, why do you guys... You know, I said that we don't see Adam Driver much anymore, we don't see Awkwafina much anymore either. Yet you guys keep tormenting me with her. Why? Why'd you do this to me? Ethan's drawing says y'all are crazy. They sure are, bud. Tell them, they are crazy. Adrian Brody as Snape. That's actually not too bad. No. That's Adrian Brody. I wasn't thinking of Adrian Brody. I was thinking of Adam Brody. Let me double check. It was Adam Brody, right? Yeah, I was thinking Adam Brody, who's, let's see if I got a photo I can show you. Not Adrian Brody, but Adam Brody. He could actually be a pretty good Snape, I think. He was in Ready or Not, most recently, I think, that I saw him in. They should cast Liam Neeson as Bellatrix. Super angry, not you too. I thought you were the more civilized one, despite what your name says. I didn't think you would be doing that. Hitler as Snape. You guys are going all crazy on me again. Be serious here. What do you think? Otherwise, we're going to switch over to the next story. Danny DeVito as Dobby. That's actually not bad. Did you guys hear that? Apparently they're going to do actors on actors. Do you know that show on YouTube where they have two actors talk to each other? It was Variety, I think, where they have an actor speak to another actor. Apparently they're going to have Colin Farrell and Danny DeVito both speaking to each other. So that'll be interesting. Two Penguin versions talking to each other. That'll be really fun to see. Trevor says, fingers crossed for Cillian Murphy as Voldemort next. I want to see that. Yes, I do want to see that. Yeah. Cillian Murphy as Voldemort. I think that'll be really interesting. We haven't seen Cillian Murphy play a villain in a while. Eric Carter as Galactus. Yeah, the best casting choice is obviously my sister has Snape. Oh, your sister as Snape. Eric Carter as Doctor Doom. Well, clearly I am the Doctor Doom to Marvel, that's for sure. Saeed says, I would pass with most modern day stuff, but not Harry Potter. It is dear to me. Yeah, it really is dear to me as well. I remember reading all the books for Harry Potter. I've got them right where my feet are. Right where my feet are, I've got all the books here, except for the 5th one. I think my brother still has the 5th one, or do I have the 5th one? Did he give it back to me? I can't remember. Yes, he has. He's given it back to me. But here's the first book. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Order of the Phoenix? Yes, I have. I do have Order of the Phoenix here. I've also got the 6th book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I'll show you. These are very old, like, art. Like, you know, art for the books, these are. Here's a hardback of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is before there was even a 6th movie where Dumbledore uses powers to do that whole flaming ring. And this is what it looked like on here. These are really old books. I got this. Where does it say the year when I got this? Let's take a look. Does it say the year anywhere on this? It says £16.99, although I know we didn't pay that for it. Does it say the year on it? Doesn't seem to. No, it doesn't seem to say the year. You have Lego Harry Potter the video game. Well, I have Lego Batman the video game. I don't have Lego Harry Potter the video game. But yeah, there you go. Brendan Fraser as Sirius Black. Kit Harington as Sirius Black. Happy something good. Okay, Kit Harington, I can see that. That's an interesting choice for Sirius. But I don't think Kit Harington is a warm Godfather type. If you look at Gary Oldman, he was very warm as a Godfather. In the book, he's more angry, bit more like an animal. But in the movies, they made him look very gentleman-y, especially in the 5th one. And Gary Oldman did that very well. Although Gary Oldman thinks he could have done his performance better, he said. So that's interesting. Andy Serkis as Dobby. Yeah, that's something right there. You have all 8 movies on DVD, said Garrett. Kit Harington as Hagrid. No, they've already got someone better as Hagrid. They've got Nick Frost. So I think that's a great choice. Super Angry says, bro, Eric, I'm trying with these fan casts. Yeah, no, you're doing a very good job. But I think they've you don't need to fan cast Hagrid. I think he's already done incredibly well. Goat says, well, I have Lego Marvel the video game. That's good. And like I said, excuse me. Like I said, I've got Lego Batman, the video game, on the PSP. Had this for years and years and years. Yeah. So yeah. All right then. Awkwafina as Hermione. All right. On that note, we're gonna move on to the next story. You guys, seriously, sometimes. All right. Spider-Man Brand New Day. As always, if you guys want to ask questions and want me to answer them immediately, Streamlabs and the Super Chats are there to do that. As is, let's get on with this story. Now, something interesting actually happened, we heard just today, or was it yesterday at this point? I don't know, time has escaped me now. An interesting kind of like report came out, a bit of news. Let's get... Alright, interesting bit of news came out that essentially Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is going to make an appearance in this I'm supposed to have an article ready for this. I don't know where it is. Aha, here we go. Son of a... Why doesn't it like it? It's not wanting to put it in. Oh, there we go. Just did it. Here we go. Sorry. Let's just make that bigger. Put it over here. I forgot to add this to the stream when I was editing it all together, so I'll just put it in. So we got this bit of news update that came out about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that is that Mark Ruffalo is set to return as Bruce Banner in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, the source for this is Nexus Point News. According to them, this is their exclusive. Now, they want to put a Hulk in a movie that has nothing to do with the Hulk. Do you remember the last time they did that? Because, you know, it worked so well the last time they did that. So, essentially, they want to put a Hulk in this movie. And the thing is, I've heard a lot of other rumors about what's in this film. There were people that attended a Sony press meeting or something where Sony announced who's going to be in the film, and that person reported and said a bunch of characters are going to be in it. One of those characters being... Let me get rid of this. One of those characters being was that apparently Mr. Negative is going to be in the movie because they were trying to get an Asian actor to audition for this film. They were trying to get an Asian actor to audition for this film. They were trying to, and as a result, people were like, oh, well, who's that going to be? It's going to be Mr. Negative, of course. And then also, we've heard that Scorpion's going to be in the movie. Tombstone, we've also heard, is going to be in the movie. So is Boomerang right here. And also, Sadie Sink is apparently going to play May Parker. And she's going to play May Parker and be which Spider-Man's daughter? Well, none other than Tobey Maguire's, of course. And then, apparently, there's also a rumor that just came out recently saying that Nicole Kidman is apparently being eyed to play the villain of the film, even though all these other characters, Mr. Negative, Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tombstone, should be all the villains, but apparently not. And then, in the middle of all of that, they want to throw in a Hulk as well. Because, like I said, it worked so well the last time they did it, where they threw a Hulk in Captain America 4, a hero and movie that had nothing to do with the Hulk. They threw him in, and then guess what happened? He only had one scene at the very end of the movie. Now, look, with all of this going on, how are they supposed to do that? This sounds like it's just, they keep cramming in more and more stuff. Now, some of this could be just false, maybe that's what it is. But honestly, guys, it just seems like this is all coming out from reports that do seem legitimate. The only one that does not seem legitimate in this is this report that came from Nexus Point News. This is the only one that sounds like it could be the fake one. But you know what? Let's just say it is the fake one. Let's just say that it is the fake one. If you take this out, you still have a lot in the movie. That's still a lot. Apparently we're also going to get a little bit of Zendaya, but just a little bit in this movie. We're also going to get maybe a little bit of Ned. We don't know for sure, but they're going to be in it a heck of a lot less. And Super Angry says, my guy, half of them are rumors. Yes, but some of them are not. Some of them, we've heard, like Tombstone, Boomerang, and Scorpion. We heard these three from someone who attended a Sony kind of event where they described what they've got coming up. And he said that these are the villains that they basically said are going to be in the film. So it's fair to say these three. And if they're going to do another one... here's what I'm thinking. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that Sony are trying... Give me a second. Where is that gone? I'm thinking that Sony are trying to do another Sinister Six, if you ask me. That's what it honestly feels like. It feels like they're trying to do another Sinister Six. So they're trying to get in, Scorpion in there, and they're trying to get these other four villains in there. So, and then you have Nicole Kidman, who will probably be the leader of them, I'm assuming, because she's a big name. It honestly comes across to me like they're trying to do another Sinister Six. That's what I think when I see all this. Yeah, Big Bash, Sony does have a Sinister Six fetish. It's like, what's going on here? That's the only thing I can assume. Now, granted, maybe this is all just false information, so it could be. We'll put that on the table, that yes, it could be false information. But when I saw all this, it just made me think, are they trying to do another Sinister Six? That's the only way I can justify hearing that all these villains are going to be in the one movie. But also, this movie is supposed to take place in between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's meant to take place after that, especially in terms of when the movies are going to release. But now, as we discussed in last week's live stream, Avengers Doomsday and Endgame are going to be delayed until December of the next 2 years. So that means that Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to have to shift its release date. So you're not going to get the movie next year. You're going to get the movie probably in 2027 now. You're going to get it probably in May of or June or July of 2027, Brand New Day. So they're going to have to move it. They're going to be forced to move it. They got no choice. So that's what I think. I think that's what's going to ultimately go down. But what do you guys think? What did I say? Josh says, you mean Secret Wars. What did I say? I thought I said Doomsday and Secret Wars. What did I say? But yeah, Doomsday and Secret Wars, essentially. That's what they're going to do. They're going to put Brand New Day in between those two, and they're going to have to move the release date, seeing as those two movies' release dates have been moved. So, Goat says, when was Tombstone confirmed? They didn't confirm it officially, but someone attended a Sony kind of like investors event or some kind of event where they laid stuff out on the table. And that's what some of the stuff that came out about Tombstone, Scorpion, and Boomerang. And Mr. Negative came out when we heard that Sony was trying to cast someone who's an Asian actor who's in their age range of like, was it like 30 to 50? And people were like, oh, that's got to be Mr. Terrific. Oh, hi, Languages Lover. Great to see you in the stream. If you're new to the stream, welcome. So glad to see you here. Oh, I said Infinity War, not Secret Wars. Yeah, sorry, Secret Wars. So yeah, that's basically what I think they're probably trying to do is another Sinister Six. Because, a lot of these do sound quite convincing. When they said that Mr. Negative, like they're looking for an Asian actor, 30 to 50, like a male actor, and it had to be an Asian actor, everyone was like, that sounds like Mr. Terrific. And if in No Way Home they were trying to leapfrog off of the Spider-Verse movies, and where the Spider-Verse movies were, No Way Home was copying the multiverse element from there. What if now Sony are copying the video games, where Mr. Negative was a villain, and they want to now use him? And I just thought of this. This adds extra credence to my theory about them trying to do another Sinister Six. Do you remember in the first Spider-Man game, not only do we get Mr. Negative, but we also got a Sinister Six in that movie. Do you remember? With Dr. Octopus leading them. So that means that they very much could be trying to do another Sinister Six here. Wow, I didn't think of that. Sounds like they could be trying to do another Sinister Six. Still super angry. It says it's coming out in 2026, but they're going to have to move that release date. That's not going to be the final release date. They're going to move it. I'm telling you, watch it. Either they'll move it if they want it to tie into Secret Wars, or Sony will get pissed off at Marvel for moving their release dates, and they'll say to them, okay, we're not going to remove our release dates, and we're going to take out every reference to Secret Wars, and we're going to stick to our release date. That's what it could also potentially mean. Spirit Hero says, clearly the MCU has learned nothing from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, clearly they haven't. Trevor says, I just want to see Kraven in this, not the garbage Aaron Taylor Johnson one. I don't think they're going to do another Kraven for a very long time since they've done that Aaron Taylor Johnson one. And quite frankly, do you want Kraven to be in a movie that has all of this going on? And she better not be playing just another mardy, bitchy teenager like she's been playing with so many of her roles. Last thing I want to see her is being a bitch to Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. I don't want to see that. They better make her a much more nicer character. Because she's been playing that one mardy teenager for so many years now, and I'm just sick of it. So yeah, I think there's it's like yeah, how many characters are gonna be in this one bloody movie? So many characters. So, and also the director of this movie is Dustin Daniel Cretton, who made Shang-Chi. I didn't like Shang-Chi. You guys saw my review of Shang-Chi. I was not a fan, and I went into detail as to why. And quite frankly, this seems like they're just trying to... They're getting a director who I don't think is good enough for the job, quite frankly. The only thing I could think he could potentially be good at is maybe maneuvering Spider-Man in the acrobatic way that he is. Because that was part of the good thing in Shang-Chi, was how he was moving acrobatically. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I bet you, if she is playing May Parker to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I bet you they're gonna have a distance from their daughter. There's gonna be some drama going on in the family. I bet you that's why. I bet you that's why they cast Sadie Sink, because that's what she specializes in, is having drama and arguments with the other characters. That's what they always make her do in these a lot, which is really annoying. Electrify has done a... Electrify has done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Electrify. You guys have really gone above and beyond with these super chats this stream, so thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Electrify says, maybe they could be making a grounded movie with the delay of Doomsday. Then it turns into a Doomsday movie by the end. Just my theory. I don't think they're making a grounded movie with the delay of Doomsday. What's happening is that the Russos don't have a complete script for either Doomsday or Secret Wars. And they're basically trying to make a movie with no script. But Marvel know that is a thing that has been like kicking their ass these last several years. So they know they need to have a full script. But at the same time, they don't want to wait. They want to start shooting as quick as they can. and they're shooting another movie at the expense of the script. They're trying to say, let's shoot another movie, but even if we don't have the full script. But it's like, isn't that what screwed you over these last several years? It's like they don't care. They're still doing it, and it's ridiculous. Even the Russo brothers need a script on hand, and the fact they don't is just so bad. And so yeah, very great, very good observation, Electrify, but I think there is just... I don't think it's that deep. I think it's really just the fact that they're incompetent, as Marvel have demonstrated over and over and over again. So that's what I think it is. And we've got Super Michael here, who says, off topic, but what do you think of the King of the Hill reboot? Well, thank you very much, Michael, for the $5 super chat. I'm sorry to say, King of the Hill was something I never got to watch as a kid. It used to always come on like 10:30 to 11 o'clock at night. And when you're a kid and your bedtime is like 7:30, 8 at the time, and maybe 9 as you got older, 11 to 11:30 was like... It felt like in your mind it was illegal for you to even be up at that time, let alone turning the TV on and getting caught. So I never got to watch it, I'm sad to say. Oh, take care, Saeed. Thank you for joining the stream. But yeah, I never got to watch King of the Hill. So the reboot, I do remember the iconic design for the main character, but I never got to watch that show. So sorry to say that I never really got into it much. I did get into Family Guy a little bit, and that was a show that also used to come on very late. And I did enjoy some of that when I did watch it, yeah. Oh, you meant ties into Doomsday by the end. Spider-Man can't tie into Doomsday because it was always meant to come out after Doomsday. But are you saying if it comes out before that, if Sony don't move their release date, then yes, I guess they could try to tie it in at the very end of the Spider-Man movie into Doomsday? Potentially, yeah. Yeah, Jigsaw, I did hear that EA cancelled the Black Panther game. But I'm so glad the Black Panther game that did not get cancelled was the one with Black Panther and Captain America. What was that called again? That other game? 19-something, was it? Did it have a name? What Black Panther game was that? Hi, Asleep. 1942, Rise of Hydra. That was it. Thank you very much, Big Bash. That game I'm looking very much forward to, because I didn't care about it at all at first. But then I heard that Amy Hennig, the creator of the Uncharted games, is behind it. And when that happened, I was so excited. I was like, okay, now I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to that game, because I want to see what she's going to do with that. And Killick is, again, still killing it with these super chats. Thank you, Killick. He says, is there a 4th of July celebration for the UK? I think there is. Because the fireworks go off again during that. So there could be the 4th of July. Isn't the 4th of July more of an American thing? I don't think... Thing is, I'm confused because there's somewhat a neighbor here that just does... that does fireworks even when there are no holidays. And then when there are, it's like... It's just ridiculous. It isn't a national holiday in the UK, no. But there are people that still celebrate it, though. Yeah, Big Bash, I agree. He says, I hate how they announce games and show us cinematics instead of gameplay. Yeah, I never liked that either. It always feels like a waste of time. It's like, just show me gameplay from the actual game. Or show me at least a cutscene made with what the graphics will look like in-game, so I have something to go off of. But yeah, cinematic cutscenes really bother me. Batman Arkham City had a really great Hugo Strange trailer. That trailer was amazing because it showed you the gameplay mechanics within the trailer. Like the smoke pellets and everything. And like there were some moves, Batman gliding and attacking people. Like they showed all these moves and it was cool. And I was like, not only is it a great story trailer, but they really showed you what is essentially going on. They showed you essentially this is like what the gameplay is going to be like. And Super Michael has done another $5 super chat, and he says, which DC villain should get the Thanos treatment? Marketing and build up, Darkseid, Brainiac, or Anti-Monitor? Darkseid, I would say. He's the one that should, because he's basically the DC equivalent of Thanos, so Darkseid by far. Adam Grunther says, are you still making that Spider-Man PS4 game versus video? I've thought about it recently, and I do want to pick it up again. So once my schedule lightens up, yes, I want to pick it up again. And hopefully I can get it out in time when there's a Spider-Man event coming. Whether it's a game, whether it's a movie. When there's some kind of Spider-Man thing coming, I can hopefully get it out then, hopefully. Adam Grunther says, also, hello, I'm late. Don't worry, better late than never, bud. So, yeah. I meant a UK version of 4th of July. I don't know. I don't know if there is, because I don't celebrate any of them, so that's why. If I have spare time, I spend it the way I want to spend it and enjoy the stuff I want to enjoy. I don't tend to go out to these, these annual celebratory events. I just stay with the family, stay at home, watch a movie, play a game, just something that I want to do. Adam Grunther says, how would you rank the 4 main villains of the Spider-Man PS4 games? Mr. Negative, Doc Ock, Kraven, Venom. I really liked Mr. Negative in that first game. So I'll say, but it's hard. Those are good choices. Okay, I'll put Doc Ock first, because I feel like he had the most development. Then I'll put Venom, Kraven... No. Okay, Doc Ock, Venom, Mr. Negative, and Kraven. Kraven was really good, though, too, so I feel bad for putting him last. But yeah, I wish they could have used him in some better ways, so yeah. Oh, Asleep, I'm so sorry to hear that. I truly, truly am. I can't imagine what you're going through, so I'm so sorry to hear that. Take your time, don't feel like you have to comment. If you feel like you want to leave, that's also perfectly fine. If you want to spend time with family or whatever, or do something else that makes you happy. But my condolences, I'm really sorry to hear that, Asleep. I really, really am. Be sure to surround yourself with your loved ones, that will definitely help. If you need to have a moment to yourself and just go for a cry to let it out of your system, do that. It will really help. But yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. I really, really am. Super Angry says, boy, did you even watch Batman 2003? I don't know what you're talking about. What's your review of the Spider-Man 2 game? Did you like it? My review is not released yet. I was working on it, and then I ended up not working on it. I ended up going to another project, because versus videos are so hard for video games. They take a long time. What was your favourite Joker death? I like the death in the first Tim Burton Batman movie. I thought that was pretty cool. But I also like his death in Return of the Joker. That was also really cool. Yeah, I'll say Return of the Joker. His death there was really good. Oh. Did you even watch? Yes, I did. I used to love that Batman show from... it was 2005, wasn't it? I thought. 2004, 2005? Maybe in the UK it came out a year after America. But yeah, I loved that show. Watched it all the time when it came on. Ooh, cool. Big Bash says, Eric, I'm almost finished with Season 4 of Clone Wars. I'm on Episode 18. Oh, great. Hope you're enjoying it. Have you gone through the Clone Trooper arc yet? The 4 episodes with the Clone Troopers? I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy in an entire year. I need to finish that up before I start Batman the Arkham Knight. Yeah, I loved... the Guardians of the Galaxy game I thought got tedious very quickly. But it was fun. I played it on my Steam Deck the whole way through. And the Arkham games are amazing. Arkham Knight had problems when I first played it, but over time it's gotten better. But I don't think it's as good as the previous 2 Arkham games, sadly. Ooh, I've not played the Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy game. Although they had some choices in the actual big like AAA Guardians of the Galaxy game. They had a full-on story there where you could also like make decisions. Probably not as in-depth as you can in the Telltale's game, but very in-depth. I did play the Batman Telltale's games, those were a lot of fun. Adam Grunther, I was wondering the same thing when you says, I wonder if we'll ever see that Insomniac Wolverine game. They are taking a long time on that, aren't they? They're taking a long time on all their games. I think the PS6 will be out by the time they start rolling these games out. I thought 2025 would start hearing some announcements. Still no. Favorite interpretation of the Avengers? It's gotta be the ones when the Russo brothers came in, isn't it? In Infinity War and Endgame. Alright, so yeah, basically we've talked about all this, so now it's time to go to the Q&A session. What is your... I've already answered that. So yeah, this is where you guys can ask me any questions. If you want to join my Patreon, or if you want to join my YouTube memberships, or even if you buy any merch from the merch store and the link in the description, your names will place them here where they'll be forever. They'll be there forever, basically. So yeah, anytime you guys do that, that will happen. Have you started watching Invincible Season 3? Not yet. I'm trying to find time, then I will. But right now I'm still busy with other stuff. Right now I'm also writing 2 other Versus videos. And I'm just finishing touches on the Snow White Versus video. I've got to just edit the intro now, and then it's done. I've also got to do the outro, you know, thanks for watching and all that kind of stuff. And I got to credit all the patrons, so... I haven't put the credits in for the... Snow White video for all the patrons, the list of patrons scrolling up. So if you want to be in there, you still can if you become a patron, and I'll put your names in there. Adam Grunther says, I'm still really recommending X-Men 97. The animation is actually good, I swear. The trailer just didn't do a good job at showing it. Don't worry, as soon as I get through some stuff, I'll try to get to that. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll try to get to that. Oh. Adam, I've not seen too many Superman movies, funnily enough. I need to see the first one again, because I've not seen that since I was like a 9-10-year-old kid. I'm not kidding, so I've got to see that one again, which I will try to do in the next month or 2 before the new Superman movie comes out. The Superman movies that I think I've seen really the most are just the animated ones. You know, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. Also, Superman versus... what were those British twerps called? Oh, I love Superman 2, though, with Zod and his goons. The Elite, Superman versus the Elite, I loved that. Yeah, that was also great. Superman Doomsday I also really enjoyed. A lot that people are mixed on that or not, don't really like it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, of the live action ones, if you're talking about those, then I would say Superman 2 I remember being my favourite. Oh, Key Wayne Hill says, hi Eric, sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it. You still got here on time, so that's cool. So don't worry. Yeah, there was a later one in the New 52, The Death of Superman. I never watched that. My family did, surprisingly, especially my mum and dad, which I didn't expect. They've seen it, but I was not keen on it. Yeah, Superman 2 was more fun, for sure, Adam. Because putting him up against people that have powers like him was cool. Very ballsy to do back in the day as well. Eric, who would you have be your taxi driver? Jar Jar, General Grievous, or Darth Maul? I would say Jar Jar. Because General Grievous or Darth Maul will end up with you dead. At least with Jar Jar, there's a chance you could survive. Adam Grunther says, The Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman are both really good. Are they? I don't trust the New 54, the New 52. Anytime they started adapting those, they got bad. The Flashpoint Paradox was great, but after that they started getting really quite lame. Which is a shame, because I used to always watch these DC animated movies whenever they released them, but then they just got so bad. And the animation was starting to get worse. Like, the animated models in the New 52 weren't that great, and then eventually we got to where we are now, where the animation isn't good. Justice League Dark, I hated. The one with Zatanna in it, I think. Dark Apocalypse, was that the one where they all get taken over by Darkseid at the beginning? I thought the pacing of that was odd. It felt like they were just... things were happening and they weren't explaining any of them to you. It was weird in that way. That's one of the things I didn't like about the New 52, is that it felt like it wasn't there to introduce people to this stuff. It's like you just had to know it. It was weird. Yeah, Kevin, I'm aware. I double-checked. Movie you love that everyone hates. Ooh, movie I love that everyone hates. I know there is one. I'm trying to think of it. Ooh. I know there are certain movies that got low scores on IMDb, but I really enjoyed them. Adam says, I will still defend X-Men Apocalypse until the day I die. Yeah, I don't think that movie's as bad as people say either. Do people hate the Mr. Bean movie? Because I love that. You know, Mr. Bean's first movie. Because people don't seem to really talk highly of that Mr. Bean movie, but I love it. Yeah, G-Gamer, don't even joke about that. Megamind 2. Yeah, the second one I wasn't really fond of either, Adam. The second Mr. Bean movie. Ooh, I know I have one, because I've seen a movie that in the past where I'm like, seriously, that got a low score? But then I saw it and I really enjoyed it, but I just can't remember it. For the life of me, I can't remember it. I will say The Flash, though. I don't love it, but it's a movie that I don't think is as bad as people say. Johnny English 2, that's one that I really enjoy. Was it Reborn? Johnny English Reborn. That was so funny. People don't speak highly of that, but I love that second one. Me and my brothers and sisters, we all laugh at it like crazy. So that's one that I think I could say. Ooh, Goat says for me it's Jurassic World Dominion. Cool. Adam says, I think Ezra Miller really did influence the reception to that movie. Yeah, but at the same time, when I do watch over the movie again, I can see why people are not so fond of it. I think there is an element to it that feels rushed. Like, not rushed like some of these other movies we've been getting lately that are very rushed, like Lilo and Stitch, the remake. But there are elements to it where I'm like, the movie doesn't breathe properly in a way. It feels like it does kind of like just rush past some stuff. Trevor says, I will defend Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Halloween 3 has become like a cult classic now. People really love that film. I've still not seen it yet, though. Eric, are you aware of the 2003 Daredevil movie? Am I aware? Yes, I am very aware of that movie, because when I was a kid, I wanted to see it, and I thought it looked so badass with that main poster. But then when we saw it, as a kid, mind you, I was 8, maybe 9, I was pointing out plot holes as a kid. Usually as kids you just watch something, you don't point out plot holes, but I was. When Daredevil in that movie got, like, you know, his whole faith got shaken, you know, in terms of what he's doing, just because he scared a kid when he was punching a bad guy, and he's like, I'm not the bad guy, kid. And then he was like, I'm not the bad guy, and he was brooding on the roof. I thought that was, I thought as a kid, I said that was so dumb. I was like, he just scared a kid. How is that supposed to mean he's the bad guy? I thought that was so silly. Yeah, for me, I can understand the hate for those cameos at the end, Adam, but for me, they didn't... It was something that I enjoyed when I saw it. It's something I can still kind of enjoy now, but it's just the fact they didn't really do anything with them. I thought the Nicolas Cage one, I thought it was cool to see, like, Christopher Reeve. I know that they probably didn't get permission from him, but it was cool to see that they were, like, just minding their business. Then they just saw what was going on with the multiverse. But they should have done more with it. And yes, they should have gotten permission as well. Super Angry says, hey bro, how do you feel? You're going to be 30. Are you feeling dreadful? I kind of am. Like... Thing is, I'm sure there's people out there who are 40 or 50 that say, oh, I miss my 30s. But for me, I'm kind of like... when I was a kid, I never thought I'd be 30. When I was a kid, I was like, 30 seems so far away, it seems like a whole other lifetime. But now it's approaching, I don't even know. It's shocking to think that I am 30. Like, I never thought that would happen. It felt like it was just so far away. And even now, I still don't feel like I'm 30. People say I don't look like I'm 30. People say I look like I'm 24, 25. But man, is it so depressing to know that I've been old for that long now. Like, oh, sorry, that I'm older now. Because I remember what it was like when I was a kid. Or when I was a teenager. And when I was having all these excitements that kids and teenagers have. I still have those excitements in me. And it's bizarre to feel that now I'm older. You always kind of assume when you're older you're going to lose all of that excitement. And you definitely have other priorities, but you don't lose it, at least. Not to me, at least. Movie King says, time goes by fast the more you age. It sure does. I still can't believe I'm going to turn 19 this year. Growing up is weird, says Big Bash. It really is weird, yeah. Ooh. Okay, we'll end the stream in a couple minutes, so if there are any more questions you want to ask me, any more super chats, any more Streamlabs chats, if you want to get your name like plastered here for this on this stream for the rest of your lives, or whatever, like forever at this point, then now's the time. Joshman says he's got to go. See you next stream. Take care, Joshman. Thank you for joining the stream for all this time. We're going to close out in a couple minutes as well, so yeah. Hope Disney doesn't do live-action remake of Pixar films. They probably will. Movie King says, one moment I'm 18 and now I'm 20. Time is a pain sometimes. It sure is. Khan says, Eric, Darth Jar Jar will find you and he will make you regret ever being a Clone Wars fan. Nope, I love Clone Wars. By the way, Khan, have you gotten to the episode yet with the Clone Troopers arc in Season 4? Have you gotten to that? I'm curious. Because that's what many people consider to be one of their favourite arcs. Not yet, but I'm getting there eventually. Okay, cool. You'll know which one I'm talking about when you see it. Oh, you did finish the Clone Trooper arc. Okay, yeah, next stream we can talk about that episode. But that was really, really good. I remember the first time I saw it, and my dad saw it. We were shocked by it. What is the most violent movie I've ever seen, says Electrify. Well, there's one movie, it's not the most violent, but it definitely made me cringe. But I can't remember which... I can't remember which movie... Huh. I would say the Terrifier movies. They got insanely violent. So yeah, we'll say Terrifier. The Time Shadow has done a £1 donation. Thank you very much, Time Shadow. Appreciate that. He says, you know I had to ask. Have you watched the Stranger Things 5 trailer yet? Also, I beg we make that a story next week. I've not seen the Stranger Things 5 trailer yet. I'll see if I react to it. Quite a few trailers came out, so I'll see if I can react to it. So yeah, I would say I have not seen it yet. Adam, I did see the Gen V Season 2 trailer. I'm not going to do a reaction to it because I will say it was a trailer, that's for sure. But there's nothing about the trailer that made me excited. There was a point where trailers would make you excited, but now trailers are just kind of generic, and this trailer was a very generic trailer. I was like, yep, Gen V Season 2 is coming, and that's about it. There's nothing I could latch onto where I'm like, yes, I'm super excited for that. So, yeah, that's probably the only thing I could complain about, is it felt too generic. There was nothing to... Like, I've forgotten about the whole trailer now as well, after having seen it. I'm looking forward to it, but it is sad that the actor passed away who played one of the main characters in that first season. He was so good in that show, so for him not to be there, his absence will be noticed. It definitely will. Is that what they're trying to do? Make his father a main character? Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, the Black Phone 2 trailer is out. That's a lot of new trailers, isn't it? Yeah, I'll watch Predator Killer of Killers. That animated stuff looks pretty cool, so I'll definitely give it a watch. Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out. I never even saw Happy Gilmore 1. Excuse me. Choose your cup of tea, The Dark Knight or Netflix Daredevil. Oh, The Dark Knight. I love Netflix's Daredevil, but no, The Dark Knight, definitely. I've been watching The Dark Knight lately, by the way, going through the movie. Love it so much, really I do. I love how dark it is and everything. It's so good. I've been going through scenes of it in the movie. Love that film so much. Eric Carter, give Mission Impossible 7 an 8 out of 10. 7, I think I do give an 8 out of 10. 8, which I saw recently, the recent one. It was 8, wasn't it? 6, 7. Yeah, it was 8. The Final Reckoning, I think I give that like a high 6 or something. Did I review that on one of... Yeah, I reviewed that on my last week's live stream, I think. Adam Grunther, yes. Logan and X-Men Days of Future Past are two of the best Marvel projects, I think. My opinion on them keeps going back and forth, by the way, like I've said. So, yeah. I love Days of Future Past. I love the whole... Just because people stumble, lose their way, doesn't mean they are lost forever. I love that scene. It was amazing between the two Xaviers. And then how Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness very lazily just referenced it. It was so lame. I liked it, I'll admit, I liked it the first time, but when I reflected on it, I was like, that was such a lazy bit of nostalgia to put in there. It didn't carry anywhere near this. It didn't count anywhere near. It didn't come anywhere near the heartfeltness that it had in the original one. I think it really didn't. So, yeah, I thought that was disappointing. That it tried to take one of the great lines from that movie, but it did not use it well. It was just a. They had no good writing to put there, so they just forced that in. Oh wow, Yamira Batia? I apologize if I'm not saying your name properly. He says, your first time here. I was so sorry, buddy. I was literally about to just say my goodbyes right now when you just came in. I'll stay here for a couple extra minutes because you came in. So ask your questions and I'll answer. I'll answer them. Look at that, you're being welcomed to the stream by Big Bash. Don't worry, bud. I'll stay here for a couple extra minutes because you just came in. So ask me your questions, I'll answer them. And hopefully next week you can pop into a stream. Adam says, Days of Future Past is a good finale for the Fox films. Logan is an even more perfect epilogue. Yeah, they both kind of work in tandem with each other in a way like that. 10 Rex says, Mr. Carter, what's the most distracting product placement in a movie? For me, it's Electric State, who had Mr. Peanut as a major character. Most distracting product placement for me was... There's plenty of good examples. But I would say the most distracting one for me was Krispy Kreme in the Power Rangers movie. I did a versus video of that Power Rangers movie. So Krispy Kreme with the Power Rangers movie. And also... what was it? Madam Web. Recently. Batman Cape Crusader or Daredevil Born Again? That's a hard question. I'll say Batman Cape Crusader. Khan says, what are the mistakes that movies always get wrong but other people don't care about? I don't know, some people don't care about... It depends who you talk to. Some people don't care about crap CGI. Some people don't care about, you know, when they just break the tone of a movie. Some people don't care when they force comedy in a movie. There's a lot of different tones out there. It just depends who you are, what kind of stuff you prefer and everything. Oh, Gary Lokes is here. Are you still working on that Sonic Versus video? I'm sorry, bud, it's taken a bit of a pause right now because I'm working on all this other stuff coming. I've worked on 5 Versus videos, I think, this month. Final Destination, Sinners versus From Dusk Till Dawn, Daredevil Born Again versus the Netflix Daredevil show. I'm also working on Snow White. That's right near completion right now. I just got to edit the intro, the opening of the video before I say let the battle commence. And then I've also got another versus video which I'm writing as well, which I'm not going to tell you about. And then I've got the Lilo and Stitch versus Lilo and Stitch remake versus video, which I'm also working on. And 4 of those are down. So now I've just got 2 others that I'm working on. So I've been working very hard on these versus videos. Nah, Deadwolf, I don't think I'll do a versus video between the Penguin and Agatha. They're 2 completely different shows. Penguin is far better, and I don't think anyone's talking about Agatha no more, so what's the point of doing a versus video on that? I don't think that will be particularly interesting. Karate Kid or Rocky? Karate Kid. I love Rocky, but lately I've been in the mood for Karate Kid, and I think Cobra Kai has definitely added to those Karate Kid movies. Alright then, I think I never really have much of a problem with bad CGI. There you go, Time Shadow is an example of some people who don't mind those things. I personally do mind when there's bad CGI in a movie that has such a big budget, but somehow it can't match the CGI from movies that are 10 plus years older than it. We support We Fight says, hello, I'm a new viewer, I just joined. Wow, that's 2 new viewers. Wow, welcome to the channel. I hope you've enjoyed my videos, and I hope if you've come to these live streams, I hope you've enjoyed them. We do them every Sunday, so be sure to pop in every Sunday and keep an eye out. Oh. And look at that, you're getting greeted by Big Bash. Yamir says, heard of the DC X Marvel comic crossover? I have. That's very interesting. Makes you think, if they're going to do this in the comics, is it going to be a successful collaboration? If it is a successful collaboration, will they ever try it in the movie form? We'll have to wait and see. We support We Fight says, I don't know, I live in Sudan, the internet here sucks. Well, if you can, subscribe to my channel. You'll get notified, and click the bell right next to the subscribe button. You'll be notified whenever I do these live streams, so then you can try to join in whenever your internet is working. But be sure to check out my channel. I'm sure there's plenty of videos you'll enjoy that I make. I make a lot of versus videos of movies where I compare 2 movies together, and they do come out, and we see which one's better. So there's a lot of videos I make that I'm sure you'll enjoy. So be sure to subscribe, and if you, all new viewers, and if you are subscribed, then that means you'll get notified whenever I do these live streams or whenever I do other videos too. So be sure to join that way, and hopefully I'll be able to see all of you again in the next stream that way when we talk about other news and stuff. Will you watch Karate Kid Legends, says Gary Loke? At some point I will. I'm considering... Right now I'm trying to stay focused on my current versus videos. So I don't want to get distracted by doing other reviews for movies. I want to try to stay focused on these next few versus videos for the next few months. And then I'll try to get back to doing reviews again. Khan says, Eric, I've heard this is a month where you decide whether you want to stay doing YouTube full-time or only do this part-time from now on. Yep, this will be the month, so we'll see how it goes. But I will say I'll extend it for July, because we've got the next Man of Steel, the next Superman movie coming out, and I plan to do versus videos of that. I plan to do versus videos of Fantastic Four. So we'll let it go on for an extra month. I feel there's still potential here to do more, so... Yep, guys, that's about it, I think. Yummy, it says it was announced for November, Batman x Deadpool. Oh, okay, that was a cool one, that is. Caleb, didn't I review Mission Impossible 8 on last week's live stream? So, if you want to know what I liked, I'm sure I said it in there. So definitely give that a watch if you want to know what I thought. So, yeah, so Electrify says, see you later. Movie King says, hey Eric, are you aware of the DC X Sonic comics and how Sonic was able to defeat Reverse Flash without even trying? That sounds funny. I wasn't aware of that, but I am now, and that's hilarious. Alright guys, I'm going to say thank you very much as always for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon next to it if you haven't already. And be sure to watch my Daredevil Born Again versus Daredevil versus video if you haven't. That video was up on my channel. I just put it up there yesterday. And definitely be sure to watch it, share it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, like it, all that stuff. And also, like I said, these are just some of the 3 of the plenty of merch that I have. And it's all linked in the description if you want to check out the merch that's there. Again, buying merch really does support the channel. So be sure to do that if you're interested. And as always, you can see my Patreon options here. Becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member also helps support the channel. So if you want any of this extra content and you want to support the channel, all you got to do is that. And like I said, if I get a big uptick in patrons, that is also another uptick, the big uptick that I need that will allow me to keep doing this and keep going. So if as many of my viewers as possible can become patron members, and that boosts up my my revenue from Patreon, that'll be enough to allow me to keep doing this full time. So if you can, if you have the means to, please do consider joining my Patreon, and that will allow me to do this full time as a career. So thank you guys very much as always. I really appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed the live stream. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed these stories that we talked about. There were plenty of them. And as always, I can't wait to speak to you guys on the next live stream. We'll have just as much to talk about then, I'm sure. In the meantime, enjoy the videos coming up. I got plenty on the way. And thank you very much for being the best viewers a content creator like me could ask for. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to every single one of you, including to all the new members who have just subscribed, just come into my channel. Hope you and subscribe and stick around as well. So thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.